Good evening. Here we are for another installment of cooking dinner with my blue fingers. I'm still smurfed out. Washed my hands about 50 times. It's starting to fade out, but hence I'm still blue. Now I have gone ahead and pre-salted and put salt and pepper on this and got it poured into my Instapot, sorry, name my foodie, my Ninja Foodie. I did this just because otherwise I have to move my camera around and it's a pain in the butt. I'm sitting here stirring this as if it's going to do something when I have not turned it on. So to this pot, I'm adding a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and I'm setting this on sear. That's going to take a couple minutes to warm up. So in the meantime, I'll kind of tell you. So I am making French dip tonight for dinner, with a little bit of a twist. As you can, obviously this is not a roast. It's not sliced roast beef. It's not a full roast. What it is stew meat. I'm using stew meat because I have a ton of it in my freezer. It is the least favorite cut of meat of beef between me and my husband. So I still have a lot from the last cow we purchased, the last side of beef. Still have a lot of this in there, and we just picked up a 1/4 beef over the weekend. So fortunately there was only 3 packages of stew meat off of that 1/4, but I probably have maybe 15-16 packages of stew meat still out there from the last side of beef. So I need to figure out how to use it. So we're going to try it in French dip. My husband will get to enjoy it on bread. Me, not so much, because I've already consumed horribly today. Ooh, that's a big old chunk of fat. That's just nothing but fat. I had a sweet coffee this morning. I had a bowl of frosted mini wheats for breakfast. I will be eating baked chips on the side, but I figure it's probably in my best interest to skip the bread tonight. Now, French dips are usually served on a hoagie roll. Also something I don't readily have in my house right now. Payday is not till tomorrow, so he will be eating his sandwich on regular sourdough bread. So we'll see how it holds together. Again, it's working with what I have versus going out and spending money I don't have in order to have the ingredients that the recipe calls for. So it did call for a 3-pound roast. I took out 2 packages of my stew meat. I do not have a food scale, so I have no idea how big the packages of stew meat were. I do know that our steaks were, our ground beef were 1-pound chubs. So if I think about this in terms of like if I split this in hamburger, I'm going to guess that this is somewhere between 2.5 and 3 pounds of stew meat. So as I said, this is already salt and peppered. I've got the oil in there. You can hear it starting to sizzle. off to the side, ready and waiting, I have homemade beef broth, which I also need to get on payday, which is tomorrow, thank goodness. I'm going to buy a bunch of vegetables to make some more beef broth, because I'm also overrun with soup bones out in my garage freezer. I think I have soup bones out there from the last last three sides of beef that we've bought. So fortunately they are vacuum sealed, so you know they last a long time, but I really need to get to using them or I'm gonna have to throw them away, which would be, you know, quite unfortunate. I mean, I suppose I could, you know, just boil them up and use the broth for my dogs, but I don't know. That seems like a waste. It's really not, but so I have a bowl of, like I said, my homemade beef broth. To that, I have added a half a teaspoon of the granulated, like dried garlic, because it does have to be rehydrated to use it. I probably didn't need to do it since this is going to be pressure cooking for a couple hours. It would have reconstituted itself anyway, but I figured, what the heck? I already had the bowl of liquid sitting here. Might as well toss the garlic in there anyway. I have good old-fashioned onion powder, because this is the only way I can get onion flavoring into my food, because my husband hates onions, and doesn't matter how fine I chop them, he always seems to find them in the food. So if I want any kind of flavor of onion, it's going to have to be the onion powder. And against my better judgment, I am going to use regular soy sauce versus the liquid aminos, because again, I can't bring myself to waste it. Now when I added the salt and pepper to the beef, I only added a little bit of salt because, again, there is a lot of sodium in the soy sauce itself. And since I had COVID, I'm really sensitive to salt. Like things that other people don't think is too salty, it's really salty for me. So I tend to tread lightly most of the time with salt anyway. Excuse me. There, now it's starting to go. I know I can hear all those professional cooks saying, leave it alone, quit messing with it. I get myself a glass of water here because my throat's starting to tickle. And I gotta fill up my water pitcher. Guess that's a good thing to do while I'm waiting for the meat, eh? I really wish that I had a better setup for doing videos like this for you guys. Or, you know, had an easier way of shifting views. But I don't, unfortunately. So my Brita is filled back up, put back in the refrigerator, get a straw for my water. I will admit, I've been really bad. I'm supposed to be drinking at least 102 ounces of water every day per doctor's orders and diabetic recommendations. And I did really, really good the first, you know, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, 5 days. And then, bleh. I just, you know, there's only, and I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, I don't like water, and that's an understatement. I'm trying to be polite there. And to be honest, I probably didn't drink 100 ounces of water in a month, let alone a day. And now I have to drink it every day. So the fact that I was getting even, you know, 60 to 80 ounces a day that first week, I'm like, I'm gonna pat myself on the back, because, you know, did I drink anywhere near that over the weekend? Nope. And it kind of went downhill from there. This is actually the first bit of water I've drank today, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So my husband will yell at me when he gets home. Now I don't know how seared these are going to get, because the meat is quite crowded in here, but I'm lazy. I don't want to do it in 2 separate sections. So just trying to get some color on all the pieces. Now for those of you watching this, if you have any suggestions for using stew meat other than making stew, because obviously if stew was something I could make in my house and it'd be eaten, I would have probably not had this much stew meat left over in my freezer. Just ways to like really cook it down. I would appreciate any kind of recipes or suggestions. I mean, it is a tougher cut of meat, so, you know, I know that braising is always a good option, you know, cooking it long and low, to really kind of help break down those fibers, but I don't have any good recipes. So, if you've got some old family ones out there, let me know. This was still a little bit frozen too when I put it in here. It's why there's so much liquid. It's kind of the water that's cooked out of the meat from being frozen. But I don't see any more pink going on in there. And I am going to be pressure cookering this for the next hour and a half or so. So I'm not worried about the meat not getting done. So to this, I'm adding 3 cups of beef broth. And like I said earlier, that's got rehydrated garlic in it. One medium onion is what's supposed to go in there. I have no idea what that equates to in powdered onion powder, so I'm just going to sprinkle some in there. And that will break down as well. You can see some of it clumped up where it's stuck to the meat. That will break down as it cooks. Give that a decent stir. And then to this, we're going to add a tablespoon of soy sauce, or You know, I did my video on the soy sauce versus the coconut aminos. Or, dang it, I did it again, the liquid aminos. And now I'm having like this vague recollection that you don't use as much of the aminos as you would the soy sauce in a recipe. I'm gonna have to look that up. So I can't remember for super certain. To this, I'm going to add my lid. Let the air out. Give it a spin. Put it on seal. Switch this over to pressure cook on high. We're going to go 1.5 hours. Start. Now, because that meat was partially frozen, sorry Liz, why don't you get the cabinet? Because that was partially frozen, it is going to take a little bit more time to build up pressure because it's not fully hot liquid. But it shouldn't be too much. Like, it wasn't frozen, it just wasn't fully defrosted. I'm looking for my little deflector thingy bobber. I haven't used it the last couple times I've done videos because I can't find it. So I have a little thingy that goes on here that deflects the heat or the steam when you pop the seal open, because whoo, bumped you guys, sorry. My cabinet is right up above, so when I release the steam, it like really makes my cabinet sweat. So I need to find my little thingy. But for now, we're all sealed up. We're going to start building up that pressure, and we'll be back in 1.5 hours to see how it turned out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back. Well, here you go, guys. Looks pretty tasty. The meat is very, very tender. I've actually taken a bowl out for myself, shredded it up, scooped some au jus in there, and made it kind of like a beef soup. Sprinkled some cheese in it, and I'm just going to call it good for dinner. But there it is. It's pretty tasty, actually. Very hot. Yum. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one.